And that is ABBA singing probably my favorite ABBA song, believe it or not, SOS, which Pierce Brosnan totally butchered in the Mamma Mia movie. But it's probably still my favorite one, and I'm glad to share it with you. I probably have shared it before on the show, but you know what? I don't care. Anyway, hello and welcome to my show, episode 241. Yes, I've done 241 of these episodes. Well, I've done 240. This is number 241. And all kinds of interesting things going on right now. We're going to talk about the bloodbath that happened over at Fox. We are going to talk about an amazing cake that the more I think about it, the more I don't know if I want to actually eat it. Getting away with murder. Well, not basically really murder, but my family's getting away with something we didn't expect to get away with today. And all kinds of really interesting stuff. Some science-y stuff, as always. Comic-y stuff. I'm going to try to wrap this up real quick because I think there's going to be... Really, the funny is, they were talking about severe storms as of this afternoon, about 12 noon. They were saying, yeah, you're going to get some around 5 o'clock. And then they pushed it back, said, okay, it's going to be 9 o'clock. So 5 o'clock came, nothing really showed up. A little bit of drips of rain here and there, where I am anyway. And then 9 o'clock rolled around, and still nothing exciting happened. Now here we are right about 10 o'clock, and it's just raining right now. It's no severe weather. It was supposed to be heavy thunderstorms and stuff like that. Now, I think a lot of it hit further south in the Baltimore area, which is further south from us. But supposedly there's another wave coming through later tonight, so we'll see. So I figured let me just get this over with and done, because tomorrow's Mother's Day. If it wasn't Mother's Day and I didn't have plans, MJ Khan and I would be sitting down here and talking about Avengers Infinity War. That being said, MJ and I will be sitting down to talk about Infinity War next weekend. It looks like that he got a new computer with a new webcam, so our syncing should be okay now. We'll see. We'll find out next weekend. If not, I'll cobble something together as I always do, and then hopefully after that I'll talk to Jerry Fletcher. We'll finally get our 1990s top 10 list going on in there. Actually, I think we did top 15 or top 20, whatever. We haven't decided yet, I guess. And we'll take care of that, and that'll lead us into June. So stuff's happening. Yeah, my 5-year, I believe, is coming up in September. So leading to that, that's going to be around, I guess, 250 something, I guess. So we'll see. But for now, whew, I forgot how sweet that was. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. I'm going to lead off the story. I'm going to lead off today's story with how we got away with murder. Actually, not actual murder, obviously. This is it's an expression, people. But this is something that surprised us, actually. So, Dawn and I went to the well, I shouldn't say because I don't want to get them in trouble. We went somewhere. I'll just say it was a grocery store. I'm not going to tell you which one, but we went to a grocery store, and we had to pick up some last-minute stuff for tomorrow's Mother's Day event at her folks' house. And so we just finished paying, and as we're walking out the door, Dawn notices something. Says, "Hey, look, Black Panther," because we both like the Black Panther movie. And I stopped and said, "Huh?" And I said, "Yeah, that movie's not supposed. The DVD is going to come out on, or the Blu-ray is going to come out on Tuesday." It was a display of the Blu-ray of Black Panther. It's not supposed to come out until Tuesday. It's not coming out Tuesday. It's not going to be out until Tuesday at Target, Walmart. I don't think Amazon's going to ship it until Tuesday. And any other grocery stores that sell videos and stuff like that, they should not have put it out until Tuesday. This place put it out today, Saturday, May 12th. Right? 12th. Yes, May 12th. So I looked at Dawn and I said, "We're going to buy it." Grabbed it. The customer service was right there. We went over to the customer service and said, "We'd like to buy this." She scanned it, paid for it, walked out the door, got home, made sure it wasn't a place keeper or whatever, opened up, packaging up, there's the Blu-ray disc. I have Black Panther in my house right now. Now, yes, Black Panther came digitally, but we have I prefer the Blu-ray, so I got the Blu-ray on that one. So that's how we got away with murder there. So I thought that was a neat story. The person who was watching apparently did not, because they just left. Actually, I think it was probably one of the Lifetime movie club members and or the late night movie club members, and they just took off because it's late night movie time for them. So I'm sure they'll be back and watch this tomorrow on the replay. I thought it was kind of funny. I'm just going to keep going down the line here. We may as well talk about murder and bloodbaths. I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory so much as an interesting scenario. It's mid-May. Television seasons are starting to wrap up. You're starting to get season finales of shows. And they're also starting to announce what is going to be on the slate for next fall, what shows got canceled, what shows got picked up, what pilots they bought, and stuff like that. So Fox decided they were going to shoot a warning shot over the bow today, or rather it was yesterday when all this sort of came together. Fox canceled Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Lucifer, The Exorcist, The Mick, and Last Man on Earth. Yeah, Last Man on Earth. They picked up I think it was ABC show that ABC dropped because of the content. It was Last Man Standing, Tim Allen's new sitcom. And Tim Allen is a far-right guy. And once his show got dropped, he was claiming it was foul play and stuff like that. So Fox picks it up, which to really surprise nobody. But it canceled all these really good shows. And let's face facts also. It doesn't matter what your political beliefs are. If you're a crappy show, you're going to get canceled. And to be honest, I never watched it. From what I heard, it was a crappy show. It was a retread on Home Improvement, but different enough that, it seemed like it was fresh and innovative. And could it possibly had something to do with his political tendencies? Sure, why not? Why don't we put it that way? And is that one of the reasons why Fox picked up? Absolutely possible. But Fox has also been notorious for canceling quality programming. Again, I haven't watched any of these shows, but just watching the fans and my friends and lots of people who were complaining about Brooklyn Nine-Nine getting canceled, and Lucifer and The Exorcist. The other ones not so much. Last Man on Earth and The Mick might just be casualties of war just because they didn't have huge followings, and that was that. But those three were huge ones. So luckily, a day later, NBC decides they're going to pick up Brooklyn Nine-Nine for its new season. So it moved from Fox to NBC. So more power to them. It's cool for them. Go ahead and do that. Also, in the same vein, Sci-Fi Channel canceled The Expanse, which also pissed off a lot of people also because a lot of people liked The Expanse, the adaptation of the book series that Dawn actually read and she likes. We've never watched the episodes, but I have them on DVD. So go ahead, you can blame me for it being canceled because one viewer, if they had one more viewer, it wouldn't get canceled. Come on, people, really. But a lot of people complain about that because, again, quality show getting canceled and people aren't having it. So we'll see what happens. But you know what? In the end, it's not up to us. It's a business. It's a business. Even if they think it's doing a pretty good idea or is doing good business for them, they're still going to go, it's costing us a lot of money, or we want to move on to something else, or I don't know. And then they'll cancel the stuff. So we'll see what happens. But the good news is for those who are fans of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it got picked up. So you're in good shape there, and you're happy. Everybody's happy about that. At the same time, reboots are winners and losers. The CW has picked up Charmed reboot and Roswell reboot. Now, I guess those are okay. I mean, you're retreading TV shows that already had their day and you're bringing them back. when you also when you did not pick up a spinoff of Supernatural, which a lot of people were hoping they would because they liked the characters. You had a built-in audience, and it would have been a nice little double shot. You could have had Supernatural in this new show, or this new show in Supernatural, whatever. But in the end, they said no for retreads. I guess you could say a spinoff might be a retread, but spinoffs and reboots are a little bit different because reboots, they've already done a thing. It's the same scenario. Charmed is about 3 sisters who are witches. Roswell is probably going to be about aliens who crash landed on Earth and are now masquerading as teenagers. And look, the shows could be good. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. I'm just saying it's kind of interesting. But at the same time, the Greatest American Hero reboot on ABC did not get a pilot pickup, which disappointed my wife because she likes the Greatest American Hero, and it was going to be a female-centric superhero, or a regular person who gets the costume and becomes a superhero. And I think that would have been kind of unique to see and an interesting thing to see, and get kids who haven't seen the 1980s version of the show a new audience, where Charmed and Roswell are mid to late 90s and early 2000s, so that wasn't that long ago, whereas Greatest American Hero was at least 30-some years ago. To each their own. But that in turn also sets up something else in The Walking Dead. Laurie Cohen, on her hiatus from Walking Dead, she decided she was going to do a pilot because she's probably thinking to herself, I'm not going to do Walking Dead forever. Walking Dead's not going to be around forever. And hey, they killed Carl, so why not? But if I'm next, and she had no idea what was going to happen. So her agent probably said, you know what, just in case, why don't you do a pilot? At least you get yourself out there. So even if it doesn't get picked up, you're out there, people know you're looking for a job, and so if they're looking for somebody, they might come and talk to me, and I'll talk to you, and we'll try to get you out there, just in case The Walking Dead decides, hey, we don't need Maggie anymore, let's toss her aside. So, and she has every right to do this. She's an actress, she's got to work, so during her hiatus, she had a job, but it's vacation time. You can work on your vacation if you want to, it's up to you. She did a pilot for a show on ABC, and it got picked up. Now here's the rub. The new season of The Walking Dead has already started filming, and Laurie Cohen signed on for that season. So we're going to see what happens with that, because maybe she'll be able to, maybe it'll be, as I said, they just picked the pilot up, so now they're going to have to go back to the writer's room. They're going to get the scripts prepped. They're going to have to get the storylines done. They're going to have to cast other actors. They had the pilot actors, but they're going to need to cast other actors as well, get some directors and writers. So it's going to be a little while before the show actually starts filming. And maybe by the time it's ready to start filming, probably for a fall debut, they're going to be just about done Walking Dead. I don't know. That's just how it's somehow working out. Then I read somewhere that someone said, well, then this is why you're going to have to kill Maggie. It's like, no, you don't have to kill people. Every time they go on to get another pilot or another movie or another show, you do not have to kill the character off, unless I guess it is beneficial to your story. No, in this case, you can keep the character still in there, but have her disappear or move away and not see her again, and let her know she's still out there, so that in the end, what if her show doesn't take off and they decide that they want to do a Maggie story again, they can bring her back fairly easily instead of saying, oh, we're just going to kill her and we'll do something else. I don't know. Television is a fickle mistress, and it's unique and interesting. This is the head scratcher, face palmer, banging your head against the table type of thing. There are certain times that you need to ask for consent to do something. You have to ask consent to have sex with someone. You need to have consent to do something to somebody, be it getting a tattoo, cutting their hair, stuff like that. Because basically, when you go to the haircut place and they say, here for a haircut, you say yes, you just gave your consent to get a haircut. And then they'll ask you questions, and they can say, hey, what would you like to do? They will ask you what you want to do. If you say, shorten on the sides and tall on the back, and then they start to buzz you. You're like, whoa, 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 wait a second. I didn't say you could buzz me. So that's where consent comes in handy. And consent is a good thing. It's not a bad word. It's a good word. However, in this case, and you've probably seen this because the story broke yesterday, I believe, or earlier today. I'm not 100%. I think it was yesterday. And this doesn't make any sense either, because a sexuality expert, I guess someone who's an expert in sex, maybe not necessarily in the action itself, but for the process and the theory and the study of it, says you should get consent from a baby before you change their diaper. All right. I guess you could say we're walking on a thin line here, because they're doing something that maybe the baby doesn't necessarily want. But in this case, you're the parent and you know a little bit better, because you know if you do not change the baby's diaper, if it's wet or it's got poopy or whatever, and she walks around in that stuff like that, it's going to get sticky, it's going to get irritated, and she could get infections and can get a lot worse. And besides, babies' brains are not fully formed yet, and they would not even be able to understand what you're asking them. Do you want to change your diaper? Would you like us to change your diaper? They're like, no, Mom, I don't want you to. I want to walk around in my filth. Or, yes, please, change my diaper. No, they don't have the process to do that. It just is the way babies are. And in this case, parents know best, because parents' job is to make sure that their child is healthy, wealthy, and wise, and taken care of, and not getting affected by some outside stimulus or whatever. In this case, not walking around with a dirty diaper, which could irritate their bottom even worse and make things even worse for the baby. They don't understand the concept of consent. And in the end, you have to own up to it, and you have to do it, even without their consent, because they don't know what the word means or what they need to say or what's best for them. They're babies. Their brains aren't fully formed. It's a whole lot different than trying to force yourself on a woman who doesn't want to have sex with you. The woman is an adult. She has a brain. She knows what she wants. She knows what she doesn't want. She can say yes or no. She understands the concept of consent. Babies do not yet. That's just ridiculous. Had to do that. And I need to get a drink. I guess we're just going to keep going down. This is weird. Well, you know, since I mentioned it, let's jump around a little bit. Tattoos. I'm not a big tattoo fan. I never have been. I don't want a tattoo. I have no desire to have a tattoo. Now, would I be okay if my wife got a tattoo? Yeah, it's her body. She can do whatever the hell she wants with it. I would prefer she doesn't get one, because I don't like them. But again, it's not up to me. It's up to her. If she wants a tattoo, damn well she's going to get a tattoo. She doesn't, though, which is fine also, and good for me. That's fine with me. I'm happy with it. But again, I'd be happy either or. The reason why I bring it up is because it's an interesting trend, I guess, in Hollywood when you are part of a big undertaking and as an actor, and you bond with your fellow cast members. You've done tons of movies with them, or you've all been in the same situations, and you have good memories of it, and it's successful, and you want a forever remembrance, besides the fact that you can watch the movie anytime you want, but you want to remember, whenever you look on your body, the time you spent with these people. The Avengers, the original Avengers, 4 of the 5 original Avengers, or 6 Avengers, 5 of the 6 Avengers, I guess, all decided they were going to get a tattoo to remember their time as Avengers. It was a 6 with the A on it, I think, something like that. So Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, and Jeremy Renner, who are 5 of the 6 original Avengers, all got the tattoo. It's a small one. It's not a huge one. It's a small one. The only one who didn't want one was Mark Ruffalo, and to be honest, it's his right. If he doesn't want one, he doesn't want one. End of story. But those are the 6 original Avengers. So they got themselves tattooed to remember their time together because, let's face it, they're really not working together anymore. And they had a great time and all that stuff, so they just want to remember that. Now, it reminded me of what the Fellowship of the Ring did for about 3 years, I guess. Peter Jackson and his cast for the Lord of the Rings trilogy worked together almost every day, doing reshoots, doing stuff, costumes, doing hard stuff, lots of fighting, training, all kinds of crazy stuff, and were leads in one of the most beloved stories of all time. Ow! I keep forgetting I got a paper cut there. As a remembrance of their time together, the Fellowship got tattoos, the original 7. And they even got, I can't think of his name, Sean Bean, who died early on in the Fellowship of the Ring. They even got him to do a tattoo also. He wasn't able to do it with them when they all went to get it because he was only on set for a little bit of time and then he left. But he, as a gesture, he got exactly the same thing that they got. So they'll remember. And that's kind of cool too, because he might not have felt as big of a part of the Fellowship because he's only in the first movie. When you watch the theatrical versions, the extended versions, he's got another sequence in the second movie, but that's besides the point. So it's something that it's cool. I mean, if you're into tattoos and stuff like that, and you want something to remember your time doing something extraordinary, the Avengers movies, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Hell, I wouldn't even be surprised if Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio got some sort of Titanic tattoo. I don't think they did, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did. Something like that, to just remember your time besides your memories. Now, as I said, I'm not a big tattoo person, and we probably wouldn't have done this anyway, but the first play I ever did in college was called Love for Love, and I was the main character, but to be honest, we were an ensemble. We were a true ensemble because while the story revolved around my character, there are all these other characters involved in my story, which were just as important, in some cases maybe more important than my character was. And we really bonded during this time. And, doing a play is not quite like doing a movie, but you're still working on it for 2-3 months, almost every day, doing rehearsals and hanging out afterwards and doing stuff like that. Would we have maybe gone and gotten tattoos if that was a thing back in 1992? Yeah, back in 92. It's possible, maybe. But it really wasn't a thing, and it was just a fun time. We were a great cast, great ensemble, and it's something I'm never going to forget. I'm still friends with a number of them on Facebook, so I still see them on Facebook periodically, and they still wish me happy birthday. I wish them happy birthdays as well, and we make little jokes that we would only get if you were on the set, and but you got the jokes, So I get it. I do. Speaking of Peter Jackson, since I just did mention him real quick, this isn't until later, but he is thinking about possibly making a movie for the DC cinematic universe. And off the top of my head, I really couldn't think of what he would do. I mean, he might do a really good job with Justice League Dark if they did one of those. Everybody has a boner for Guillermo del Toro, but I could see him do something like that. But I'm just trying to figure out, he's a horror auteur movie maker to start with. That's how he started off, and then he was known as the Lord of the Rings Hobbit guy because he did those 6 movies. And then he's also done that, not Asterix, but the one foreign cartoon that's popular over there that him and Spielberg made a movie together. He's on that. He did King Kong, and he's done some dramatic stuff as well. But I don't even remember what the last movie was that he made. It's been a while, at least. I can't think of what it is off my head. So I guess it's some of the Hobbit movies, I guess. But so I'm trying to figure out what he would be best at, what movie he could do in the DC Cinematic Universe, and I'm drawing a blank right now. I think Justice League Dark would be up in his wheelhouse probably, because it's got horror aspects to it and supernatural things as well. But you know, you also have the fantasy aspect, of course, with the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. But do you want to keep going back to that? Well, I don't know. Do you want to get back to horror? Well, there's really not any major horror DC characters. Now, you could, as I said, you could piggyback that onto Justice League Dark and make it in kind of a horror thing, because you're talking about demons and ghosts and magicians and psychics and swamp beasts and stuff like that. That might be something up his wheelhouse. Or, you know, if he wants to try something different, I mean, I guess there's anything at that point. You could go for anything. I just don't expect him to do a Superman or a Batman or a Wonder Woman movie, or even a Flash movie for that, or any of the Justice League, to be honest. But just one of these other fringe type of characters. We'll see. Is it a good idea? I mean, he's a fine filmmaker. It's fine. He needs to find the right system, right movie for him to make it interesting. So this is more of a personal note. Baltimore. I live in Reisterstown, which is a suburb of Baltimore. Baltimore is probably about 25 minutes away from here. And we have a professional baseball and professional football team. You've heard me talk about the Ravens. You heard me talk about the Orioles. So I'm going to talk about the Orioles real quick. Now, this year, the Orioles have been really terrible. They started the season 9-28 or 8-28 or 9-28 or something like that, which is the worst record in baseball. And I don't even know what the score is, but up till this afternoon, they have now won 4 straight games. They seem to finally have gotten through their problems. They've had lots of issues through the months of April and early May. Hitting, their pitching hasn't been outstanding. It's been okay, but you know, when their pitching is really good, their hitting sucks. When their hitting is pretty good, their pitching sucks. Their bullpen's been sucky. Their fielding has been sucky. It just seems like they were done. They were giving up, and then just something happened like that, and half the team disappeared. No, I'm just kidding. They just started figuring out. Yeah, they played the Kansas City Royals, who aren't a great team, and they played the Tampa Bay Rays, that aren't a great team. But you know what? You need to have that winning process ingrained in you, because if you start winning that and you start finding ways to win there, you could win anywhere, basically. To be honest, you could. So they're turning it around. They were losing in the 4th inning, 4-1. The second part of the doubleheader they had today, and then the rains came, and then I don't know what happened after that. See if they've made a comeback, or if they've had a rain delay, or if they canceled it, because it's raining. Apparently, I have friends who live in Baltimore. It's raining worse down there than it is here. As I said, we've got nothing up here. Maybe a little bit of drip drop rain, but no thunder, no lightning, or heavy rain. They got all that down there. Let's see what we got here. Oh my God, they killed us. Oh my God, they killed us. That's 10-3. So they scored 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 0 in the fifth, 0 in the sixth, 1 in the seventh, 2 in the eighth, and 3 in the ninth. And they're killing us 10-3. So we're going to lose this game. Who pitched for us? House Cobb. Oh, he's just getting better. 5 and 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. They did okay. Who screwed it up? Mike Wright did, and Aruhu walked 3. Oh God, it's terrible. So yeah, so our 4-game win streak has just been snapped. That's okay. You know, you can't win them all, but the fact that we won 4 straight up to this point is not a bad omen. And then, you know, as long as, you know, they can get it in tomorrow, because it's supposed to be raining from every day from now until next Sunday, they get it in, and hopefully they'll play better. So we'll see. So good on those. teeth, nails. I saw this picture and I was like, why the hell would you do this to your fingers? Yes, I understand people like their nails. They like to get them painted, or they like to get them, real long, and they got really cool designs on them, stuff like that. But these people are literally making their nails look like teeth. These things right here, with the gaps here and the gaps down here and the stuff in the back there and stuff like that. They're making their fingers look like this. So you're walking around like, look at my teeth on my hands. Rah! It's really weird. And it's an odd fashion statement, because long nails help when you need to get out knots and stuff like that. You've got the points, you can get in there and you can reach in and pull stuff out a little bit easier. These things, I like the teeth. They're not the canines that you use, it's the flat ones in the back, which I honestly don't think helps do anything except look weird. So, teeth, nails, it's a weird thing. California is the first state to prescribe food as medicine. I didn't read the entirety of the article, and it wasn't an onion thing, but I guess, if they're out there and they like their avocados and stuff like that, maybe if you eat avocados, you'll feel better. I don't know. So it's just, the doctor can prescribe you, here, you need to eat a dozen apples. One a day keeps the doctor away. That type of stuff. So interesting. Chicken soup for the soul, that type of stuff. Women prefer to marry men with beards according to science. Well, I asked my wife, a scientist, and she said, hell no. Granted, I still got a little bit of fuzz here, but she does not like when I have my beard. She does not like beards, and which is funny if you go on Twitter and you see all the women who talk about love and feel beards down below and all over them and stuff like that. You'd be like, holy shit, I need to get a beard on. But my wife doesn't like beards, and so my wife's still a woman as far as I know, and she's a scientist, so she was sort of confuzzled by that. It's more of a personal response. I mean, if you like the guy with a beard, hey, go for it. Why not? It's fine. But if you don't, at the same time, that's fine also. It's neither here nor there. Don't use science to say science proves that women like men with beards, like to marry men with beards. I married a woman who doesn't like beards, and I know there are other people who don't like that as well. So, dog-like robots to hit stores next year as security guards. So we saw this one robot that's been trained to walk upstairs and open doors, and is the first step on the path to all artificial intelligence. And now we have robot dogs that are going to be used as security guards. Now, a couple weeks ago, I talked about robot men with robot penises you can use to have sex with them. And then there's also the robot women that men can have sex with also. The robot men and women are both warm, and they can have a sensation of wetness down below and make it feel like you're actually having sex with a real human, which you really should try, to be honest, if you haven't. But yeah, so we keep seeing more and more strides in AI, and before you know it, the robots are going to take over, and you just got to watch out. Teacher fired from a religious preschool after refusing to give up acting in porn. I don't know where the disconnect is. I understand it, don't get me wrong. You're a religious school, and pornography is, in their eyes, not right. But how do you, as a teacher, pass off your career when you try to get this job and ignoring your job in porn? Now, I suppose you could omit it from your resume, but isn't that wrong? Maybe, I don't know. I'm thinking that's probably what happened. Was she wanted the job, she didn't want to keep doing porn forever, but she likes it, I guess, because she's refusing to quit even after getting this job in this religious preschool, knowing full well that there was a conflict of interest. Now, I don't know who I should vote for on this one because it's the religious preschool's right, I think, to, if they feel that the person they hired to do a job for them is not right for it, they have the right to let them go. Particularly if, and from this it says she's refusing to give up porn, so it might have been someone stumbled upon her porn career and said, hey, why didn't you tell us about this? And she could come up with some excuse. I don't know. I didn't know anything about it. I need the money, blah, 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 like that. And it seems like these people were cool with that. It's like, okay, that's fine. But in order for you to keep this job here, you're going to have to stop doing that. Can you do that? And the woman said, no. And they said, well, then we got to let you go. I'm sort of back in the school on this one. Nothing against the woman. I mean, you are who you are. You do what you want to do. That's fine. But you also got to know, you got to understand, if you're going to a religious preschool, you should know what their beliefs are and what they think is bad. And if you're doing something that they consider bad, you probably might want to stop doing it, because eventually people are going to find out. So, to be continued, I guess. A Maleficent's dragon from Sleeping Beauty. They have a model that's in the Disney World parade every night. Caught fire today, and the pictures that they have of it looks like the dragon came to life and was spouting fire out of its mouth. But I guess they don't know how it caught fire. They controlled the fire. It didn't hurt anybody. It just damaged the dragon, and it's something they can probably repair. They can figure out what happened. Maybe there was a short and something, because I think the mouth opens and does all this stuff. Maybe there's just a spark, and it sparked, and then it lit the inside of the dragon on fire, went like that. So, cake. I've never really been a huge cake fan. I mean, we have a cake whenever it's somebody's birthday at work. And sometimes I eat the slice of cake I'm given, or sometimes I just don't get a slice of cake because I don't want it. I'm not in the mood for it, or I don't like the cake they have. But this one takes the cake. This is at some sort of restaurant somewhere. I should have probably done my research a bit more, but the main reason why I want to talk about this is because of what's in the cake. The cake starts off with Mars bars. I mean, I think it's a muffin, shredded muffin layer with, to get the cakey type aspect to it, or biscuit layer, whatever. You put Mars bars on it. Now, I've never been a fan of the Mars bars, but they put they showed how they made the cake. They literally put the mini Mars bars, like 12 of them in a row, at the bottom of this pan. Then they covered it in Nutella cream and peanut butter and covered all that up. Then they put a brownie on it. This is still the cake. It's the layers. You put the cake on it. Then they put something on it called cherry ripe. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it looks like shredded cherries, and they put that as a layer on top of the brownie. They put Oreo cheesecake on top of that. They put actual Oreos on top of the Oreo cheesecake. Then they cover it in more Nutella cream. They put marshmallows on it, and they top it off with candied bacon. And then you slice it, and you get all the layers, and you just dig right in that way. So it seems awfully sweet to me. Extra craziness, sweetness, extra craziness, cakeness. And I don't know if I'd want to try it. It's intriguing looking, but I don't think I could eat that. Again, think about it. And it says, this is what I just talked about. I don't know if you heard me talk about this cake. First layer is Mars bars, Nutella cream and peanut butter, brownie, cherry ripe on it, Oreo cheesecake, Oreos, marshmallows, Nutella cream, candied bacon. And you left whoever it was, so okay. That's the cake. It seems too much for me. Way too much. I couldn't get over all the multiple layers that are in there. I mean, it probably tastes really good, but man, it would kill you probably. I saw this name for a movie, and I want to see it now. I've always been a fan of bad movies. That's how we got. That sounds a little too rich for me. Yeah, Scott is watching. Okay, cool. I watched bad movies, and me and my Snark Alex is how we met. We were watching the bad movies that Sci-Fi used to do before they decided they just wanted to do TV shows, and then they go ahead and cancel them. But that's besides the point. So we would make fun of these bad movies, and it was always a fun Saturday night. We'd sit down there. Actually, it'd be almost wrapping up. It'd be about another half an hour left in one of these bad movies on Sci-Fi, and we'd be having fun and joking and laughing and doing stuff. Well, this one is one that I want them to show, and maybe when we do the final Shark Week, which, by the way, final Shark Week is sometime in August. They'd had the date, and I forgot what it was. I think it's like the 23rd or something like that of August is the last Sharknado movie they're ever going to do. So they decided to do a Shark Week. They need to do Ninja Shark Busters. And the cover is just what you expect. It's a bikini-clad woman on the very front going, ah! And then there's a swimming pool behind it. There's a giant-ass shark coming towards the bikini-clad woman. There's a dude who looks like a ninja, is like doing the whole ninja pose, ha, with the sword and the leg and the stuff like that, getting ready to chop up the shark. So Ninja Shark Busters goes along with, I wish I remembered, a couple weeks ago I talked about another shark movie which sounds awfully awesome. Ooh, I didn't talk about that because I can talk about that today, yes. I forget what it was, but I want to see that one as well. Ninja Shark Busters. Get on that Sci-Fi, show it during Shark Week. That would be freaking awesome. Ken Jeong, comedian, you might know him best from the Hangover movies. He's also been on, I think, Parks and Rec, or I think it was Parks and Rec, or one of these other shows that he's done before. He's been on regular TV, so people know who he is. He is an actual medical doctor. He went through med school, is an MD, PhD, all this stuff. So he knows his stuff, but I guess he got tired of it and decided he wanted to try something different. So he became a stand-up comedian and then got these roles in these movies and acting, stuff like that. That's what he likes to do. So he was doing a stand-up set during one of his shows. And a woman had a seizure in the middle of his show. So instead of either stopping the show and letting the EMTs come and take care of it, or just going on with the show and trying to get the attention of the EMTs to go down there and help or whatever, and just so that deflect from what's going on and let them handle that and let them still watch him, he stopped his set. He jumped off the stage and helped stabilize the woman who was having the seizure while before the EMT came. Now, I think the other part of the story was the person that was with this woman was actually an EMT also. So the two of them worked together to stabilize her till the real paramedics came in. That's really kind of a neat story. You can think whatever you want about Ken Jeong. If you don't like him, that's fine. But the fact that he stopped his set to provide medical assistance to a member of his audience because he can, and he knows his stuff, and he knows what to do, he probably helped save that woman's life. If he was just some other comedian, they still might have, stopped the set or deflected or whatever, but that woman might not have made it because there wasn't that extra set of hands to help stabilize her. Ken Jeong knew exactly what was happening once he was able to assess the situation and knew what to do to stabilize her. And I think that's really kind of cool. Speaking of ninjas, I talked about Ninja Shark Busters. This is really getting kind of out there. They've made live action movies with G.I. Joe. I think they've made 2 of them. And I think The Rock was in one of them also. There have been rumblings they're going to be doing a 3rd one because they did okay movie-wise, I guess, but not fantastic. But they're starting to decide we're going to start pick and choosing, much like what Transformers are doing, because Transformers is doing a Bumblebee movie, and that's coming out, I think, next summer. Hasbro, whoever's doing the live action version, has now handpicked Snake Eyes to get his own movie, which in itself is a cool idea because the Snake Eyes was actually pretty cool looking in the G.I. Joe movies. And Snake Eyes is a really cool character. Only thing is he doesn't talk. Now you could have, get Scarlet on there as well, and then have some sort of, do a backstory on him, maybe get Storm Shadow in there and do some other stuff as well. But you're just going to be able to see this. I think Ray Park actually was Snake Eyes, or was he Storm Shadow? He was one or two of those. I think he was Snake Eyes, actually. You're going to get to see some martial arts, awesome stuff. So that's actually not a bad idea for a spinoff. I've never liked the Transformers movies, so the Bumblebee movie it sounds like it's going to be awful. And I don't think Bay's involved with it. If he is, he's filming the spinoff, but I mean, he might be producing it, but I don't think he's filming it. I don't know. I can save this for next week, but I think I'm going to just bring it up anyway. I'll talk about it with MJ if we are able to get together next week, because as I said earlier in the show, he got a new computer with new webcam, so hopefully we'll be able to be synced up and we'll be able to hear each other. And we're going to do our tentative show next week. Is going to be me and MJ back together again. We're going to be discussing Avengers Infinity War. It's been 3 weeks. I think everybody has seen it who's going to see it. We can start spoiling the shit out of it, which we're going to. It would have been more fun if we would have been able to do it the week of the movie coming out, but due to various things, we just weren't able to connect and do that stuff. So these next couple stories might be something that I could probably have held off to talk about till later, but you know what? I think I'm just going to do it real quick. DC Comics, which has been my favorite recently when they did their rebirth. I've been liking their stories a lot more than Marvel's. They're also releasing a number of their comics twice a month. You get Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lanterns, Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps, Harley Quinn. Who else is Bombshells? I think is 2 weeks. And then there's some other ones that either I don't get or I just can't think of the top of my head right now. The ones that came out twice a month were $2.99, and all other comics, the ones that are monthly, are $3.99, which is the normal price. All of Marvel's books are $3.99, and all DC's except for these ones that came out twice a month were $3.99 as well. So it's not a big deal. But having a number of books be $2.99 because they're coming out twice a month was kind of good, because it sort of kept your money down. I mean, you're still spending technically $6 on it a month instead of $3, but or it could have been $9, so you could have saved $3 in there anyway if they were $3.99. Well, guess what? They're going to up the price to $3.99 on these books, and I had been getting them due to the fact that they were $2.99, but now I'm going to be like, I'll probably get Superman because Bendis is going to be writing it just to see what he can do, but I have not been a fan of what he's done so far of what I've read. Batman I'm going to continue to get because it's, in my opinion, the best comic book out there right now. I did it again. I don't want to say I'm trying not to say and some of the other ones as well, I'm going to probably start dropping because I can't afford to pay $3.99 every 2 weeks for these books. So I guess you need to do what you need to do. It's been 2 years since Rebirth happened, so I guess you need to raise the prices eventually. And on that note, supposedly there's going to be another crisis, and I'm really sick of hearing the word crisis when it comes to DC, because everything they do is a crisis, and every time they do a crisis, they reboot the whole thing again. Now, they're saying it's not going to be a reboot, but the storyline is going to lead into some sort of crisis, and that's all Scott Snyder's doing. Again, I have not been a huge fan of his stuff recently. He just did the miniseries Metal, which was okay. It was weird, and it was different, which I guess was the point, I suppose. But still, it just showed his Joker boner, and I'm sick of the Joker. And this was like 6 Jokers in this series as well. But there was other stuff going like that. And now he's doing this weekly miniseries called No Justice, which is redoing the DC universe, not like a rebirth or whatever, but it's reorienting what goes on in the world and making it a much less safer place for them. And then he's going to lead into Justice League, which he's also writing, which is going to be June or July. It's not going to be June. It's going to be July, I think. Could be June though, because this weekly stuff, issue 2 is next week, and there's 5 weeks in May, and we just got the first one this week, which is the 2nd week of May. So it's only 4 issues, so I guess it'll be June will be when the new Justice League is, and he says he's got a 2-year storyline prepped and planned, and supposedly it's this crisis thing, so we'll see what happens. So we'll probably talk about that a little bit more on the show next week after we discuss I'm just going to say anyway, because I'm going to say it anyway. Avengers Infinity War. Also, when it comes to Marvel Cinematic Universe, 2 more Marvel stories, and then we'll get to some other stuff. Iron Man's original suit from the original Iron Man movie, the one that Robert Downey Jr. wore, and in lots of different scenes as well, has literally been stolen. So now the police are looking for Iron Man's armor, which is really funny. I don't know, does someone think that if they put on the Iron Man armor, they'd be Iron Man? Wouldn't surprise me. We'll see. Or is it just, hey, Robert Downey Jr. wore this. Hey, let's see if I can make some big money off of it. Or, hey, I'm gonna get a chick. Hey, you want to see my Robert Downey Jr. armor? Yeah, I got it right here. Iron Man. You love Iron Man? This is the original one. So that's kind of interesting. Finally, this was a story that I missed for whatever reason from a couple weeks ago. It was supposed to be on episode 239, so that was 2 weeks ago. And then I just remembered that I didn't talk about it because there's no check mark next to it. So now I'm going to, because I figured I've already been talking a little bit about sex today as well. You know where my mind is, obviously. But Avengers Infinity War is huge right now. Everybody's seen it. It's the biggest movie. It's going to be the biggest movie of the year. It's craziness, insanity, and Marvel Cinematic Universe is amazing, so on and so forth. So it was only a matter of time that they created Avengers Sex Toys. Yes, sex toys that resemble Avengers. I think there's a Hulk fist, and there's some other stuff, like a vibrating hammer for Thor, and some other things as well. They only had, and this story was, as I said, a couple weeks ago, so I don't remember. It's way back on my timeline on Facebook. I think I posted it on my page. It's their actual things. I don't know if you could go to Amazon, type in Avengers Sex Toys, and see what happens. I don't think it's going to happen, but let's just see if it comes up. I have the Amazon app. Let's just see what happens. It's like Al Capone's vault. What's going to happen? Avengers. Here we go. Now, so it's not on Amazon, but I saw something here. Let's see what this is. No, it's the same thing. Yeah. So there's no, but there was a story that there were Avengers Sex Toys. You can't get them on Amazon apparently. Dag nabbit. And yes, it's not a big mystery that they also do Avengers porn as well. They've done porn for everything: DC, Marvel, Star Wars, Star Trek. Anything you can think of, anything pop culture related. There's going to be a porn for it. Some of them are actually really well done. Not that I know anything about that, but hey. But no, Avengers Sex Toys are a thing. It's not an Onion commercial. Or an Onion ad. It's an actual thing. I guess. I don't know. Going from sex toys to McDonald's. This wasn't really a big major story, but I just saw the picture of the family meal they're releasing. They're releasing a family box. I guess Kentucky Fried Chicken did something similar, but McDonald's is going to do a family box. It has like 4 drinks, 4 desserts, 4 fries, and like 10 burgers. And that's the family meal, and that's a good idea. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not making a joke about that. These family meal deals are actually really good. It would cost X amount of money to get 4 sodas, 4 desserts, 4 fries, and 10 burgers. It would cost you, I don't know, like $30. So what you do is you sell a family 4-pack for like $19.99. you're saving like $10, $11 already. You're getting the exact same things, and they have a way they can sell something different now. So good on them. I mean, Kentucky Fried Chicken has done it for a while. They've done a family bucket type thing, and I guess there are other places that do it as well. But this is the first time I heard McDonald's does something like that. So good for them. Pluto may become a planet again. I've never said it wasn't a planet. I've always been in the Pluto is a planet corner, but now they're starting to do discussions again to possibly reclassify Pluto as a planet. And I think what got it to get moving again was, for the longest time, Pluto was just a theoretical something out there. They'd seen something out there. They thought it was Pluto. They'd taken some pictures before. They discovered it had a couple moons, and then they said, you know what, we really need to find out what Pluto's all about. So they sent a probe out there about 2 years ago. It flew by, and we got our first real pictures of Pluto, and they were absolutely stunning. And it was unlike any planet we'd ever seen before, and it totally threw everybody's misconceptions about what Pluto was. And now, you know, it's got 5 moons now, and it's got, now you have a face to go with the picture, a face to go with the name. You now know what Pluto looks like. Much the same as when Voyager went out and you got your first pictures of Neptune and Uranus and stuff like that. And when Voyager 1 went out and you got your first pictures of Jupiter and Saturn. Now, you'd seen them before through telescopes, stuff like that, but you've never seen them up close. And with these probes, you were able to. So now you got the Pluto out there, and it's stunned scientists, and it made them rethink about this. It's like, this isn't just some crappy Mercury-esque asteroid husk that's circling the sun that we call Pluto. No, it's an actual, has a character. It's got a heart-shaped glacier, and it's got all kinds of, like, a slight atmosphere now, they're saying. It's got snow. It snows on the surface. It's got, you know, possibility. No, there might be water. They have geysers now, maybe, that's coming out of there too. And then the moons are all unique and different as well. So it's gotten the scientists thinking, you know, it's not this crappy meteor we thought it was. It's an actual cool location that we need to study more often. So they're bringing it back. It's not official yet, but it's in the discussion phase, and we'll see what happens. A Norwegian boy saves his sister from a moose after using techniques he used in the World of Warcraft RPG video game. Apparently, this boy, a 12-year-old boy and his sister were walking in an area in Norway that they weren't supposed to, and there was moose. And if you've ever seen moose, they're big ass guys, especially with their antlers. And he wasn't very happy with them intruding on his property. So he was getting close to the sister, who was younger than the boy. So the boy used something called distraction, which he remembered from World of Warcraft, which they use to, well, it's distraction is distraction. It's the same thing as what distraction is in real life, to draw the bad guy away from someone in your group to come after you, your guild, to come after you. And then he used some other stuff to get his sister to safety. I didn't read the full article, but I thought it was kind of an interesting headline and a neat story that, hey, computer games do actually help you. Dr. Dre loses his trademark battle to gynecologist Dr. Dre. There's a gynecologist by the name of Dr. Dre, D-R-A-I, and rapper Dr. Dre, D-R-E, was trying to trademark Dr. Dre so he can make money off of it, but they put up a court case, stuff like that, and this gynecologist, Dr. Dre, D-R-A-I, won, so you can't trademark Dr. Dre. So, just a different story. Speaking of video games, David Price, pitcher for the Boston Red Sox, is suffering through carpal tunnel syndrome problem right now. And a lot of people are believing it is due to his obsession with the game Fortnite, which I've never played, but I've seen aspects of it before. You also have to remember that David Price being... Nope, that's not that. I'll do that story next, but that's not the one I wanted to do. David Price though was one of the best pitchers, he's gone downhill over the last few years, but he was at one time one of the greatest pitchers in baseball. He's only in his early 30s. I'm older than him. So he's still kind of a kid. So of course, Fortnite is going to draw your attention, and he's playing it, and he has carpal tunnel. So luckily they didn't have to put him on the DL. I think he just skipped a start or rested an extra day or whatever, and he's able to pitch. But the fact is, the carpal tunnel he got was due to the fact that he played Fortnite all the time. I just find that funny. Oh yeah, the one I checked off, Danica Patrick. Now we all know about Danica Patrick. She was a first female race car driver. Hasn't really done much, to be honest. I'm just being honest, but she's famous because she's hot and she's a car. Drives in the car, and everybody loves their cars. And she's the first female race car driver. So she's gotten, GoDaddy as her sponsor, and she's gotten stuff because she's a sexy bitch. After Aaron Rodgers broke up with his girlfriend, who was, I forget the actress's name, but she played Psylocke in the X-Men movies. I can't think of her name right now. He started dating Danica Patrick. And again, do whatever you want, man. I mean, you're famous, she's famous. Why not go out? Why not have fun? However, what's the interesting thing about that is Aaron Rodgers is the Green Bay Packers quarterback. Danica Patrick's family is from Chicago, and they are avid and rabid Chicago Bears fans, which the Bears and Packers have had a pretty good rivalry. Nothing as good as Steelers Ravens, I'm just saying, or Redskins Cowboys, just saying. But they had a pretty good rivalry. They have a pretty good rivalry. Danica Patrick's dad, once he found out that his daughter was dating Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback for the team he despises, when he was going to first meet Aaron Rodgers, he wanted to tackle him in a Brian Urlacher jersey. Let me repeat that. You obviously probably remember the first time you met your partner's parents and how hard it was, how maybe scared, maybe are they going to like me, I don't know. I had my self-doubts when I first met Dawn's family. They were quelled pretty quickly because they're great people. But just think, when you find out you're going to visit your girlfriend's or your partner's parents, and your partner's father hates everything you stand for and wants to tackle you in a jersey of the team that he loves. It just blows my mind. It's just an interesting. It'd be like if I went to visit, when I first met Dawn's parents, if I went wearing a Dallas Cowboys jersey, or I was a Dallas Cowboys quarterback, they would want to tackle me in the Redskins jerseys. I just find that funny. Here's something interesting for you guys out there. There is an actual alcohol out there called vodka, which is the mixture of vodka and tequila, which will probably kill you, but they've probably done it enough so that you're going to be able to do it. But it's an actual thing, vodka. So if you like vodka and you like tequila, and you thought, hey, what make this better if they were mixed, now's your chance. You got a chance. Liquid chocolate gushes from an overturned truck on the highway. They had an aerial shot of it, and it was just liquid chocolate just coming out all over the place. That must just be insane on a highway that gets hot, and you get that chocolate melted over there, and the sweetness, stuff like that's going to draw tons of bees and ants, and it's going to be disgusting. I mean, I'm sure they probably hosed it down and stuff like that, and it's okay now, but at the time, it happens real quick. You're going to get all the insects that are going to come and love it. Speaking of animals, puffins have just been discovered that their beaks glow in the dark. No one ever really noticed that before, but now they know that puffins' beaks glow in the dark. And that's kind of fascinating. It's always interesting to hear new things when you discover new things about animals and people and stuff like that. There was a fight at a cornhole tournament. Now, cornhole is that beanbag game everybody plays where you throw a beanbag into a hole. It's a pretty big deal before, football games, baseball games, do it at bars and stuff like that. So there was a cornhole tournament. It's, it's throwing beanbags at stuff, It's not a big deal. It's a fun little game you do with your buddies, But it was a down and out drag tournament. It's these are serious cornhole players, and a fight breaks out, and they're being shown. This is not like a little fight between two people. It's like a baseball fight where both teams merge on the field and get into a huge brawl for about 20 minutes. This is what happened. Crazy. Where did I get that from? Did I already mark it? No, I guess I already marked it. Oh, well. Fans, after seeing the end of Avengers Infinity War, and we know, spoiler, that Rocket Raccoon is on Earth now. Fans want to see Rocket Raccoon meet a real raccoon on Earth, and I think that'd be brilliant if they could pull that off. I don't think they're going to, but I think it would be brilliant if they could. Along the lines of with the Marvel stuff, Ryan Coogler, who directed the Black Panther movie, which, Scott, you might not have known this, but earlier in the show, I discovered that there was a store, a grocery store, I'm not going to say the name of it, that has released the Black Panther Blu-ray early. It's not supposed to be out until Tuesday, but there was display for stuff on sale at this store, and I bought my copy early because it's only available on digital right now. This is an actual Blu-ray DVD display that they were putting on for sale, paid the full price for it, and got it. I have it upstairs. But Ryan Coogler, again, considering what happened at the end of Avengers Infinity War, we know it's probably not going to stay that way, but he would be okay with an all-female Black Panther movie. And I would too, because to be honest, the female characters in that movie are one of the reasons that made that film so spectacular. And I think they could handle it. Absolutely, I think they could. Cobra Kai, the YouTube show, which is the sequel kind of to the Karate Kid movies, but it's a TV show, a YouTube show. It's half-an-hour episodes. There's like 13 of them. Has got renewed for a second season. It brings back Ralph Macchio and William Zabka as playing the rivals, Johnny and Daniel's son. But now they're all grown up, and they have their own families, and they have their own issues as adults. And their lives have skewed where you thought they would. Daniel has become a successful parent, family man, owns a series of car dealerships. Considering his obsession with cars in the Karate Kid movies, it makes a lot of sense. Meanwhile, William Zabka's Johnny, who lost the battles, has hit rock bottom and is not in a very good place. And this is what was interesting about the Cobra Kai series, is that it gives equal time to both Johnny and Daniel, and makes them both look like it's not, it's going to be another one of those good versus evil. A lot of the stories take place from Johnny's perspective, and it's called Cobra Kai, so it's going to be mostly about him anyway. And his rationale for reopening the Cobra Kai karate school is actually not a bad one. Now, his techniques are a little bit off, but the reasoning for opening it is actually not a bad idea, and it makes sense to have it. It's to help kids who are bullied. And Daniel, I'm afraid that he's going to teach these kids the bad stuff that Johnny's sensei taught him, is trying to shut it down, not realizing that maybe Johnny's actually doing something good. So you're getting a little bit of a different perspective. So Daniel is not the hero and Johnny's the bad guy. No, they're on an even keel. They're living their lives, and sometimes Daniel's the hero and Johnny isn't, and sometimes it's the other way around, or sometimes they're the same. So the fact that it got a second season is pretty good. It's not a bad series, actually. So Topless gardener sues authorities for being prudes. Well done. If you want to garden topless, garden topless. I don't care. Do whatever you want. This is females, obviously. Men's garden topless all the time, but women, let the girls hang out. Why not? I like looking at the girls. And it's kind of prudish. Why don't you cover yourself up? You know what? It's a human body. I mean, what if it was reversed? What if men's bodies were the ones that were, oh, don't take your shirt off type of thing? Just think about that. Wedding bouncy castles is the new thing. Now, a couple weeks ago, I talked about the flying veils, which is still weird to me. But here we have a wedding bouncy castle. Everyone loves bouncy houses. So why not get married at a bouncy house? So there are bouncy houses now where you can get married, the priest, whatever, in a bouncy house. So you can bounce with your new wife or husband, whatever. Weird. New law could send parents to jail if their kids are bullies. That's sort of, I should have piggybacked that onto Cobra Kai. So if your kids are bullying other kids, it's your job to teach them right from wrong, not to be the bullies and stuff like that, and to punish them if you find out that they are bullying them. This new law says if your kid is bullying another kid, you're liable and you need to go to jail. It's a way to scare people, I guess, into taking more of a interest in what their kids are doing. I'm okay with that because I've been trying to instill into my kids to not bully anybody. And if it seems like they're doing or saying things that could be construed as bullying, but they're not quite sure if it is or not, I set them straight. I was bullied. I don't want anybody else to get bullied. And that's like my worst for right now. My daughter is turning 12. She's going to middle school this fall. That's where things get really, really bad. So I'm not ready, prepared for that. And hopefully I won't have to deal with that. But it's an interesting law and interesting. Oh, there it is. Fight a cornhole tournament. Schools remove analog clocks because kids can't read them. Those are the clocks that have the hands and the numbers 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that we all grew up on learning how to do. And that's how you learned how to tell time. I remember I had a book which was just the analog clock, and it would be how to tell time, and you can move it. If it's say, show us 12:15, so you would say, okay, it's 12:15, and that's how you do it. It's really not that hard, but I guess nowadays everything's digital. You don't need to learn. People don't wear watches anymore. I mean, they wear the Apple watches, but they don't wear regular watches and wristwatches anymore, really. And everything is digital. Same thing with calculators. Calculators are everywhere now, and no longer are you able to do math in your head. You say, oh, well, what's 50 times 50? Oh, I'm just going to type my calculator. 50 times 50, but it's 250 people. Come on. It's not that hard. Oh yeah, this is awesome. I know it's never going to catch on because it's never going to catch on. But people over this is experts are saying, people over 40 should only have to work 3 days a week. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. Because we're old and worn down and we need our rest and we can only handle 3 days worth of stress. We need to have 4-day weekends. We need it. We just need it. I'm sorry, we do. Have you ever felt refreshed after a 4-day weekend? I have. I have them every year with my Thanksgiving stuff. I always look forward to that because it's a 4-day weekend. Why not? And actually, I'm sort of piggybacking that onto Memorial Day week as was this year. We have day off on Memorial Day, that Monday. I go to work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 days right there. And I'm taking that Friday off because it's my son's dance recital, and I want to be prepared and get him over to the dance hall and stuff like that on time. So I'm only working 3 days that week, one of which is a vacation day I had to take away from my vacation, and one is a paid vacation day. So 3 days a week, baby. Make it so. Only if you're 40 and above. If you're 39 or lower, you're young enough. You can work the rest of the time for us. You can work 5 days a week. You're much stronger than us. You're better than us. You don't need to rest as much as we do. We need to rest because we're old. I think it's a great idea. Nothing's going to change, though. It's not going to happen. My laser tag place nearby here, I'm sad to say, is going to close the weekend before my birthday. I was going to have a birthday party at this laser tag place, but they're shutting it down, which pisses me off so much because this is such a great laser tag place and I love it. And I wish I could go every week, but I can't. I love the laser tag place and they're shutting it down and it makes me very, very sad. So I just thought I'd let you guys know. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure number 3 is officially official. I like the idea of it. You know, those who've never seen the Bill and Ted movies, the premise is 2 slacker high school boys discover that they are going to, the band that they want to create is going to let's see one thing here. Is the band that they want to create is going to create a song that is going to, or their music in general is going to unite the universe and make it a golden age of peace and prosperity. The second one had outside forces trying to make sure that doesn't happen so they can continue doing terror and evil and bad stuff. So they killed them and travel through death and life and stuff like that. The third one now, because we haven't seen it yet, is actually a really good idea. Both Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter are both involved in it and are going to and want to do it and are willing to do it and are dying to do it. And the story itself, if it remains as it is a good idea. They still haven't created that song which unites the galaxy, and they're running out of time because they are now in their upper 40s and 50s and they're family men and they are running out of time, and it's a good idea. So good on that. And then Sherlock Holmes 3 with Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law has been officially sanctioned. It's been years since Sherlock Holmes 2, the Guy Ritchie version of it. So now we're getting it again, I guess, you know, with Robert Downey Jr. tiring of doing Iron Man. It's time to move it back to a movie series that he had success with also. So good on them. Gluing bows to babies' heads is the new thing nowadays. Instead of using clips, you can use this baby glue, which I don't think is like regular glue, so it's not going to hurt them. But it's a way to help the babies, I guess. I don't know. If you want a bow in the head, you don't have to put clip-ons and have it pop out. This glue will hold it on in place. I don't know. I guess it's good. So that's it for that. All I've got left now is do my Check Eye Day stuff, and then I'm out of here. I did it. I want to do a short one today, and I was able to get it out of there. Still haven't heard any thunder or lightning. I hope we get a thunderstorm because I love thunderstorms, particularly at night. I hope we get one. I hope we get heavy rain and sleet and thunder and lightning and it's not sleet, it's hail and all that stuff, just as long as it doesn't do any damage to my car. So we do my Check Eye Day now, which is where, you know, every day is literally a holiday. And I'm a huge holiday guy, and I like to tell you guys about all the holidays that we have. And in this case, you know, some of them are really weird, and some are, you know, like tomorrow's Mother's Day. That's a holiday. It's going to be on the list for that. But you can go to checkeye.com. It's an actual website you can go to and see all the holidays there, or follow them on Twitter at Check Eye Day. We'll get tomorrow's in a second, but there's a lot. Today's May 12th is a lot. It's American Indian Day, Birth Mother's Day, Brunch for Lunch Day, which we actually did have, to be honest. Cornelia de Lange Syndrome Awareness Day. I don't know what Cornelia de Lange syndrome is. Let's see if it has a description of what Cornelia de Lange syndrome is. Is it my great-great-great-great-grandmother Cornelia? Possibly. It actually doesn't tell me what it is, so we'll have to look that up. So Cornelia de Lange Syndrome Awareness Day was today. International Awareness Day, International Chronic Fatigue Syndrome Awareness Day, International Migratory Bird Day, International Nurses Day, yay, is today. Letter Carrier Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive Day, Limerick Day, Martin Z. Mollusk Day, Mother Ocean Day, National Animal Disaster Preparedness Day, National Babysitters Day, National Fibromyalgia Awareness Day. So it's a lot of disease awareness days today. It's also International Nurses Day, so I guess it all goes hand in hand. National Miniature Golf Day, National Nutty Fudge, National Train Day, Odometer Day. Stay up all night night. Yay. I hope I do. I don't know what I'm saying. Sun Awareness Day. World Belly Dance Day. World Buckfast Day. World Fair Trade Day. That was all yesterday. Or today, rather. Yesterday's, May 11th, Eat What You Want Day. Fantastic Friday, Giving Sharks a Voice. Hostess Cupcake Day, Military Spouse Appreciation Day, National Public Gardens Day, National Twilight Zone Day, Provider Appreciation Day. May 10th, which was Thursday, was Ascension in the Catholic religion, which I'm a part of. Ascension is when Jesus, after Easter still going on technically right now, this is when he ascended to heaven and has left the earth now. Clean Up Your Room Day, Make a Book Day. These are all Thursday, May 10th. National Children's Mental Health Awareness Day, National Shrimp Day, National Small Business Day, Trust Your Intuition Day, and World Lupus Day. Now, tomorrow, besides being Mother's Day, we have, where are you, May 13th? May 13th is World Cocktail Day. So use some of that vodka. Is Tulip Day, Top Gun Day, National Veal Ban Action Day, National Leprechaun Day. I have to wear my leprechaun shirt then. I thought that'd be St. Patrick's Day, but I guess not. National Fruit Cocktail Day, National Apple Pie Day, Mothers at the Wall Day, Mother's Day, Jerusalem Day, International Hummus Day, Frog Jumping Day, and it's Cough Drop Day. Those are all tomorrow's days. So that's the holidays. And that's still a nose. So thanks for watching, Scotty, and whoever watched earlier in the show and then left right around 10 o'clock. Thanks again for watching. And next week, if all goes according to plan, I don't know which day yet. I'll have to deal. I left it to MJ. MJ Khan and I will be back. We will be discussing Avengers Infinity War because I really want to discuss the movie in detail with him and get his take on it. And reveal my take on it and our predictions and stuff that's coming up, and any other comic book news that comes out. And then hopefully, if that all works out, we can the next week, I guess, would be Memorial Day weekend, would be able to hang out with Jerry Fletcher and do our list show there. I'll have to talk to her about that as well. So again, thanks for watching. Have a great Mother's Day. If you celebrate, if your mother has passed away, just think about her. I'm sure you will. And if your mother's still alive and you still like her, as it were, spend some time with her. I spent time with my mom today because she's working tomorrow. And we also celebrated her birthday today as well. So we had a nice brunch for lunch type of deal at a nice restaurant up here in Reisterstown. So it was fun. Salmon BLT was my lunch. It was yummy. On that note, I'm going to take off. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all on the flip side. Episode 242 next week, hopefully with MJ Khan, talking Avengers Infinity War. Bye now.